And hello, everyone. Marshall here from the IKS. We are live with our Open Saturday battle. I'm starting the live stream about an hour and a half later than normal. We actually just got started. I just got my very first position update in that we're on the move. So we've just been started for about 5 minutes or so. And it was after that report I realized, hey, I should be live streaming this. So I decided to go ahead and do it. Some personal notes. I've been kind of out of action for the past few weeks. I've had some issues with some kidney stones, and there's been some complications. I've had a few procedures performed in the hospital. The good news is I'm on my way to a full recovery. The bad news is I've been kind of uncomfortable of late, and that's why you haven't seen or heard so much of me other than on Coffee Kegs and Kriegsspiel, which I've tried to keep going on. Um, in the next couple weeks, things should be back to normal for me health wise, which is good. And you'll begin to see again more regular content coming out. You should, of course, be seeing content coming from other people and players, and the IKS is as busy as ever. Just some preliminary stuff here. We have our website at kriegsspiel.org, and that is absolutely flourishing and taking off. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat just so you know. You can check that out. We have our Kriegsspiel problems updated. We have, I think, some content under the blogs now. Most of the content areas are now filled in. We also have our store. Let's see here. Let's go into our Etsy store called Kriegs Depot on Etsy. I'm always trying to add or put a few items in there. Um, so that store is there, and you can go in and purchase your Kriegsspiel merch if you want. And finally, a big help for the organization is our Patreon. And if you join our Patreon, you get the K22 rules set all for free. Let me go ahead and go there. There we go. Coffee, Kegs, and Kriegsspiel. We do a show every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. The show is broadcast to YouTube, and then we go later and post it to the Patreon account. Sometimes we put exclusive content on the Patreon, so you'll get exclusive content. And again, you get the K22 Napoleonic Kriegsspiel rule set absolutely for free just by signing on to become patron, whatever, on Patreon. So that's welcome. During this YouTube, if you have any kind of comments, questions, thoughts, or ideas, any kind of feedback or anything, feel free to post that in the YouTube discussion. I'll interact with you. I'll kind of try to tell you what's going through my head as we go. Because of my little personal health situation, I'll probably be taking a few more breaks than typical, which means I'll have to step away occasionally, but for the most part, all should be well. If there are audio issues, let's say my Empire comes in and you can't hear them, I'll check my levels. But if there are any kinds of issues with audio, if you don't hear what's going on, drop a note in the YouTube and I'll tweak it. The OBS, I had messed with it recently. It should be working now. But in the event that there's an issue, just let me know and I'll fix things. Anyway, the situation is this: I'm commanding the second division of a French corps. I am not in command of the corps. Crusader is in command of the corps. I simply command the second division of that corps, and I have underneath me two brigades. We have another two brigades in the first division, and they're moving on the southern route. My commander in chief is ahead of me with a cavalry force, and our initial objective is to arrive at and relieve a French force that is stuck at Metz. Once that force is relieved, we are expected to, I believe, turn north and engage a larger Austrian force that is either approaching or present. In any case, we are on the move along this main road. Our commander-in-chief chose this route. He could have chosen any routes, any two parallel roads on the eastern side of the map, which you see here. He chose this route because it has us moving up the central ridge, if you will, this high ground. And it is pretty direct. And that's the route that we're taking to get there. The first division has kind of an odd route in that they've got to go uphill, downhill. At one point here, they cut across country, then they go downhill, then they go back uphill. It's just a mess for them. But they'll get there, I'm sure. So at this point in time, we just got our initial position update. I've been told that I hear artillery fire to the southwest. I don't quite know exactly what or where that is. There's nothing that I see. I do see that the 1st Division is in column, marching on the parallel road to my south. Otherwise, it's early in the morning. It's overcast. The clouds are low. It's foggy. The weather could become rainy or it could clear up. We don't know one way or the other. But that's the situation. All right, I'm going to turn my face off here so you can see more of the map. There you go. You see Metz now in the corner of the map. And that is our initial objective. We're trying to relieve that position. So the Austrians are around there somewhere. We'll see them when we get to them. All right, that's what's going on. I should, let's see. Well, you can get a link to the Discord on Kriegsspiel.org. So if you want to join the community and participate, again, hit that Discord link on Kriegsspiel.org, and you'll end up right there in the middle of our community, and you'll be able to participate with us directly. All right. And if you don't want to play, that's okay. If you don't have time to play, we have play-by-post games. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. Lots of stuff to accommodate you. And if you just want to hang out and observe or watch, commentate, whatever, that's doable. Like I said, we have play-by-post games for people who don't have time. All of that. So there you go. All right, just waiting for the updates. Let's minimize OBS for the time and check my channel. Looks clean. Today is August 20th of 2022. And in 2 weeks, on Sunday, September 4th of 2022, we will have a live in-person game in Los Angeles. Now, because of that, there will be no Coffee Kegs and Kriegsspiel episode, but I will probably post some exclusive content, pictures, or whatever updates I can for the Patreon subscribers, just to let them know how the game is going and what's going on. Those will come throughout the day because it's going to be a day-long in-person game. The internet access that we have at the location is extremely poor, so I'm not really able to do much live or in real time. But we will be kind of filming and taking pictures of everything, and we will be creating some video content and other stuff for everyone to enjoy the days and weeks after that event. So that'll be made available to you. And again, the people who are subscribers on Patreon will get to see everything first. So please feel free to support us there. All right, it looks like the Empire's moving around. Nope, not yet. But there is some kind of action already because I've heard artillery. So I'm going to wait and watch for that. All right, I'm just going to go quiet for a little bit because you don't need to hear me prattle on all the time. And let's go ahead and dock that window there. And again, to whoever is watching, feel free to say hello. And if you're watching this in the future, you're not watching this live, you're watching this in the months in the future. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them. I receive a notification. And when I see that, I'll go back and answer your question or comment or address it or acknowledge it. So we do that all the time. Okay, the in-game time is now 0730, and this is the 0730 situation. All right, I'll be back in a few, folks. Hang tight. Welcome to all of our viewers. Just a quick hello. Good to see you all joining in. Still standing by for a report. This is probably, even though it's turn one, there's probably contact already on turn one. I know because I've received a report there's artillery fire to my southwest. And it takes the umpires a while to resolve. Hey, Eli, good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat. All right, while I wait for that first update, I will point out that Metz, as we understand it, is under French control. Now, I'm not able to draw on this portion of the map. It's a limitation of the map. I can only draw up to here. Then it won't let me draw over here. Let's see, even if I zoom in, no, won't do it. But yeah, we expect to encounter the Austrians pretty soon. Hello, Justin. Okay. Okay. Just continue. Thank you. Okay, so we do have some audio issues. I was looking at the levels there while Justin was speaking, and he was not appearing on the audio. So the downside is I've been was paying more attention to the audio levels than the game. Okay, why are there two under audio output capture? Hmm. You know, I need to delete that. Let's just recreate it. Okay, so now I have two desktop audio. Delete that. Delete that. All right, so we have display. We have my video. I'm here. Display capture and audio input. Testing, testing. But if I delete that, what happens? Testing, testing. Okay, so you can hear me. And can you hear if I roll a die on? All right, so that doesn't come in at all. So desktop audio is not working. Hmm. Okay, so Audio output. I don't know why it has two levels on it, but I don't know my OBS that well. But here you go. Oh, that won't work. That just sends it off into infinity, huh? Um, Either way. Okay, well, hopefully when Justin comes back in, we'll hear, and this will work. That's display, that's video, that's audio, and then we need desktop. Hmm. Why doesn't this have a thingy? Yeah, it's just not working. Testing, testing. Okay, so that works. I don't know why there's two levels on it. So you're getting the desktop audio. And hello, Nathan. You ask if the players are still in the process of getting ready. No, the game is underway. It takes about 15 minutes between turns. And so at this point in time, we're on the move. And I should have a screenshot. I should update my position. I've just been fiddling with my OBS. I want you to hear the updates as they come in. The umpires when they come in and speak to me. And right now, I don't know if that's happening. Testing, testing, but we'll see. See, that's desktop audio. And I'm going to tweak this just for about a second more. And then I'm going to... Oh, okay. Audio output capture. So what I need is audio output capture. Create new. And then use that. One of those two is going to work. Okay. I think we're good, in good shape there. Now let's go back to Discord. Let's check our 7:45 a.m. update. And what we have now is, let's see here. Well, I'll put it on the screen so you can see the screenshot I was given. Okay, so we have our commander-in-chief, and he's up here, Neil Viller Leorme, whatever. So let's go ahead and we can probably erase all the markings now. In fact, let's just erase all of them. Okay, I'll move up my force. So I'm beneath right here. Okay, so I'm right there, literally. And then I've got my brigade commander here. Then I've got my other forces coming up behind here, and so on. So that's the rough position of my division. Now to my front, I have two cuirassiers and a battery, so a horse artillery. So let's sort that out. Okay, we'll put those cuirassiers down, and then we're going to rotate them like this to indicate that they're actually in column on the move. And then there's horse artillery, which I always like to see horse artillery up there and active, not not in the rear. Let's see, but this one is limbered, so he's just kind of on the move. Okay. And then closer to the front, we have, it looks like 4 hussar squadrons. So let's copy those. They're right here. Here I am changing the map state. Alright, are we on 5? No. 6? Yep, there we go. Alright, we're all good to go. Okay. So the line is actually a little more to the south. So, there we are. We have these guys, and then we have our commander-in-chief. Now, at this point, if he wants me to do something, he needs to send me a dispatch. Otherwise, we just keep kind of following along. Alright, that's the situation. Now, to my south, I do have a comrade. And I'm going to have to duplicate my existing little square marker here. So let's copy that. And he is right about here. And his name is... Alright, and he is 1E. Alright, there we go. We flip him over. And then he is... Brigades coming up. So let's go ahead and duplicate these. Don't usually put a lot of the other guy's stuff down, but I'll just make that 1, and that's 2. Alright, let's grab some infantry markers. Alright, they're on the move there. We need about 4 more, so we'll just kind of copy those. And he's actually up this way. And then he has a supply column as well. So he has 1 supply block. Not a lot, but some. Alright, there we go. That's the situation as I see it from my position right here. And I'll get reports shortly, I'm sure, that will tell me what to do and where to go and how to do it. Let's check the YouTube. All right. Good morning to Achilles. Oh yeah, Nathan. Yeah, I'm playing not an umpire today because of my personal issues. I don't feel too comfortable umpiring. I have to take frequent breaks, so I'm just playing today. Playing is a lot less involved than umpiring. All right. Peter, the march to battle. It's such a good feeling. Your command looks good, the tactics good, you look good, then it all goes to voodoo. Yep, that's right. I love the march to battle too. I like that part of the game. It's a big part of the game as far as I'm concerned is just getting there. And then once you're there, then you got to make some quick decisions and they got to be right. And then you're going to decide where do I put the reserve? When do we change the plans? Things like that. It's pretty cool.
Good day, sir.
All
So
right,
you're
hello.
proceeding up the road. You see the friendly hussars drive off the enemy hussars, setting them retreating to the south. You see with some concern that your line of march and First Division's line of march are converging on the same intersection, and you're going to have the opportunity to be co-located. So you better talk to him about it. Let's go now. We'll go to the two.
Okay.
So as you hear artillery to the southwest, both of you find yourselves converging on the same intersection at Villelon. Dogpart, I'm aware you probably haven't got a screenshot yet, but basically the heads of your columns are converging at the same intersection east of the church. So just basically clarifying how the two of you are going to handle that. Are you going to take turns on the road? Is one of you going beside the road? Or what do you want to do with that?
I was gonna off-road to through. You should probably ask Samuel because he's doing something about it. Because I did a mistake. I accidentally spoke back to an umpire. I'm very sorry about that.
That's all right. So you want to travel beside the road? We can do that.
Yes.
Easy then. All right. You're co-located at the moment because you are, but then you can easily travel beside one another in parallel.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. And you're co-located for now.
Okay. All right, for everyone watching the live stream, this is the current situation. Again, we still hear that there's fighting to our southwest, probably in the vicinity of Metz. We continue to move ahead. The first division is going to march parallel to me off road while I march along the road. The head of our column and our corps commander are very close at hand, so I don't know that I'll be passing him. I think my approach is going to be slowed by him because he's deployed and he's scouting and kind of looking ahead for the enemy, but I think he may be moving a little slow. I could be wrong. We'll see. Maybe there is no delay. But I do know that we need to push forward to contact with the enemy as fast as we can so that we can put pressure on them and relieve the fortress at Metz. So that's kind of the game plan. Achilles says, you know, the infantry rarely march on the road anyway. The road is for important stuff like wagons and guns and cavalry. Well, march on the road here. Gonna see you in 2 weeks, Achilles. Looking forward to it, man. Achilles asks, so I'm feeling so-so, but should be better in 2 weeks. Okay, I've received a dispatch from my commander-in-chief. It says the Austrians have started firing on Metz. I have encountered some enemy cavalry, but that's all from now. We're continuing according to plan. So just a little situation update there. Nothing special. We just need to continue and power through to relieve the garrison. We're going to have to push through that cavalry. So I have guns up at the front of my column if we need them. And start shooting at some guys on horses if we need to.
Also received the same dispatch from the commander.
Okay, yeah, he's just giving us an update.
That makes me worried that Fort St. Julian is under enemy control. If it is, it's gonna slow us down a lot.
It won't be under enemy control for long. So,
That is the hope.
yeah, I don't think we have to assault it. We can go around it too. We got options.
Yeah, but not taking it would be kinda like just running into the siege and putting ourselves in it.
No, we can we'll have to see. We need a little bit more situational awareness regarding the enemy.
Yeah, we do. We can't. We don't have too much.
But I'm sure that our forces are a lot larger than what they have in that little bitty fort. We have guns. We'll figure it out.
I will hopefully take it relatively quickly.
Yeah, we can go around it. I don't know that they're in there. They may be. They might not be. If they're smart, they're in there. But we got all kinds of choices. They're the ones who are stuck in that position, not us.
We could just go around it, yeah.
Yeah, there's that ridge line. We can go under the ridge. They won't even be able to see us. If we went down through May and then Vanto or whatever, they wouldn't be able to do anything.
The marching route does lead us through.
So,
Hello, I have a quick question for a dog pilot. Are you staying off road on the, or are you going south? With since Marshall had sent a screenshot, like, are you taking your original route, or are you going
Uh,
now?
like, I think I'm going on the route marked on the map. I I think that's at least a pretty good idea. I'm not completely sure,
To
but
to May, like swing south to May, and then
yeah, that one
continue
there.
west.
If there's any, if there are enemies there, I'll have contact with them, and if the enemy's not there, I can turn around. And if the enemy's in front of Fort St. Julian, I'll be behind them.
So you will take your original
Because that
route.
the original route through May.
Okay. Yeah.
No clue if that was a good order or not, but I hope it is. It's okay.
Just to make sure, so you're going to Southern Road.
Southern Road, yeah. Through May, then right, then,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
The
I
road
just
on the
wanted to
map.
make sure.
Good, 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 good.
And for those of you on the YouTube, I want to make sure you're able to hear the umpires and other people. If not, if you're not hearing, if you're only hearing me, let me know.
Oh, hello. I was informed that there is a traffic jam.
Okay, I think we have an 8:15 update in.
Okay. Do you hear me?
looks like we have contact with the enemy to our front.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good day.
I am here for Marshall, the General Division 2. So
Okay.
you see the columns have diverged. The first division has moved cross country to the road down towards May and is now heading down into the valley there.
Mhm.
While you have come up and met Marechal Crusader, and
Okay.
you can see what looks like a Austrian line facing towards you with some field guns at its center. That'll be 6-pounders. And you can see that there are both heavy cavalry, light cavalry, and horse artillery from your own side deployed in that general direction, although the horse artillery is currently masked by the hussars. You can hear the continuing heavy artillery beyond there, but you can't see it yet.
Okay. Well,
I'll,
we just
I'll,
get.
I'll give you time to discuss. I'll come back. I'll go give the other briefing and then come back for any orders.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Crusader.
Hello.
Okay. Hey, Sam.
Did Justin already give you your briefing or only for
Yes.
Marshall?
He just told me.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, Crusader, so you have now resolved the traffic jam with Marshall, I guess. So now your hussars have scouted the enemy positions, and you can also make them out now because the fog is going away a bit. You can see some infantry and some cannons. But the cannons, surprisingly, they didn't shoot at you. So yeah, lucky you. Do you have any orders? Or do you have to talk with Marshall?
Yeah, I think we'll talk a bit.
Okay, then I will go to Dogpilot.
Okay. So I'm thinking we should deploy our artillery to clear the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Start firing. And we need to scout with the cavalry and find out what's going on the flanks and behind these guys. And yeah, we have plenty of force. I think we can push up through them. And if we have to, we'll go around them.
Yeah, I have 2 squadrons of hussars moving south that are pursuing the enemy's cavalry. And I think that these 2 hussars up front, these are probably going to go north to circumvent this position.
Perfect.
I think I'll keep the heavy cavalry in reserve for now.
Okay.
Any orders, General Marshall?
Go ahead and push forward and deploy online with artillery in the center. Artillery is to take enemy artillery under counter battery fire. The infantry is to deploy to the left and the right, 1 brigade each.
Okay, can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sam. Okay, so
You mentioned that your hussars in the south have continued chasing the enemies, and they have seen some more hussars forming up in Bellecroix, à la limite. Yeah, that's all.
I see that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. I think I have my orders. I want the 2 squadrons of my hussars that are here to move north and circumvent the woods and try to get behind these lines to gather information.
Okay.
And I guess it is. I guess it is pretty obvious, man. But I still want to know if the outworks are garrisoned or not.
If what?
The Fort Saint Julien, if it's garrisoned or not.
Fort Saint Julien.
Either by Austrians or French, whatever. I just want to know.
If I may ask, where is it?
Oh, it's directly to our west.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, it's occupied. But you see troops leaving it.
I see. Yeah, I just want my 2 squadrons of hussars here to move north and circumvent the woods to try to move behind the infantry line here to gather information, or if it is possible, um, try to strike at their supplies.
And what are they to do if they encounter enemy?
Um, try to avoid combat.
Good. And any orders for your artillery? Are they to open up or?
Yes, I want my artillery to begin counter-battery fire.
Okay. Just so that you know, the enemy artillery hasn't even started to fire yet.
Yeah, well, good for them, I guess.
If that's all, I will go to the channel.
Yeah, I think that's all for me.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. So it is surprisingly mostly going according to plan.
That probably means it's assuredly going south very quickly.
Oh god, yeah, well, yeah, probably. I mean, it's scary. You know, I expected contact with the enemy around these positions,
Mm-hmm.
and that. So yeah, I might have to order first division to hold, because my ideas currently are that if we can break through this position and secure the road, then we can break out the garrison, because one of these approaches, like the one of the gates, leaves the northern side. So we can.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry to bother you, but do you have any orders for the hussars to the south that you left scouting?
Uh, yes, I want them as well to avoid combat and just stand their ground for now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm of the opinion that we should push rather than hold, because if we hold, then this one brigade stops an entire corps. So unless we run up against 2 corps or something that's a lot bigger than us, I really feel we need to push, because that's going to get in their head more than if we stop. I think that will create more problems for them than it will create for us if we push.
If I see correctly, then at least I think I want first division probably to. There is a road coming up from May that can that circumvents the enemy position south of Castle Guimont.
Yeah, just as long as they keep advancing, I think we'll be in good shape. Eventually, they'll see us flanking them and they'll retreat. Even if and then we don't even have to fight them here, they'll retreat.
Yeah, I just think that we didn't give marching orders after May, so I don't know, did we?
Well, we couldn't draw them, but yeah, just push.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay. Um, just making sure to did it actually happen. Okay. I'll send it. I'll send a dispatch to him.
Yeah, and Achilles and Eli, yeah, I want us to push. I think that creates problems for the enemy. If we stop, I think that relieves pressure and gives him time to think. So even if it's not the greatest decision, it's better than stopping. So it's at least the least worst decision, if not a good decision. So that's how I view it.
Okay. So I was about to say that yeah, I think we ideally want these troops to either be destroyed or retreat south or westward. If we can do that and secure this high ground, then from this position we can probably force the enemy to at least back off from the outworks in the south. That was closer to the wall because I suspect that they already have those and are bombarding the city walls from that position.
Yeah, we'll push them. I think they'll retreat when they see First Division flanking them to the south. They'll probably want to retreat. It's very unnerving to have enemy troops on your flank, and especially maneuvering around into your rear. Most forces will withdraw or redeploy or cry for reinforcements or something. It's very
My
unnerving.
Absolutely. My fear is that it will scare them enough to move back into the fort, this outwork
Well,
ahead of us.
and that's fine too because we can move around to the south, and I don't know what's going on in the south around Le Board, the factory, Plantere, but whatever's there, if they want to bottle themselves up behind those walls, that's fine, and we can move south of that ridge line where and I don't think they'll be able to fire on us. And if they don't have Fort Laborde also occupied, and they don't have Fort Bellecroix occupied, we might actually occupy those positions. Then we'll be able to move through there in and out with impunity. So, as I understand, we occupy Metz. So we actually hold a lot of these fortifications to the south. And once we appear to the south and embolden our men to come out, then we could do a lot of things. But yeah, if they want to hunker down in Fort St. Julian and Turtle, that's fine. They can spend the whole battle hanging out there telling stories or cooking hot dogs or something. I don't care.
Just casually making wursts with cooked potatoes and baked or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. They can make gourmet food for all I care. Gourmet hardtack. I don't care.
I suspect their main force is probably on the southern side because their screening camera were treated that way.
Okay. Well, they might have a force, and then that's probably where we punch through. Fort St. Julian might be a strong point for them, might be an anchor, and we have to punch through further south. Or maybe we have to assault the fort. I've got line infantry that can do it. So if they go in that fort, and if you want to clear that fort, I think we can clear the fort. We've got the numbers to do it.
Might be a bit too costly though, especially with these United defenders.
Yeah, probably. That's why I think we need to look. You probably need to head south to that ridge and see what you can see.
That's probably what's going to happen after.
Yeah.
I suspect next turn probably, or at least half an hour from now.
All right. Nathan asks what system they're using. I think he's using his own system, a version of Brigade maybe, just based on the dice. I don't think he's using Otto's system. Certainly not using K22. I think he's using his own system that is a form of the Brigade system. And you can access these systems on our website. You can go to our Kriegsspiel website. I'll show you real quick. Go to resources and you go to rules, and you can choose the different systems that we have. So you can take a look at these, get the resources. we have an update here. Looks like my artillery's taken some hits. Looks like they have a pretty strong force there.
It seems like First Division is already deploying and preparing for the attack.
Yeah.
I think the Austrians here are showing all they have. That's my hunch here.
Okay. I know what we need to do here. I need my light infantry to deploy on the right and advance through those woods, and my regular infantry to deploy on the left in double line formation. So I've already made a mistake, but we can correct it. It's just going to take 30 minutes to sort itself out.
Good day, sir.
However, yep, hello.
Hello. Your second, well, one of your brigades, I believe it's the second brigade, is shaking out at the moment. The line and the 30th line is shaking out into a line to the north of the batteries. There's some counter battery fire being exchanged between your battery, Crusaders' battery, and the Austrian battery across the way. The Austrians currently seem to be getting the better of it, but more of your infantry is coming up and getting into line.
Okay, we need to make an immediate change. I need my light infantry to deploy on the right and advance through the trees in open order skirmish formation and begin firing on and attack the enemy on the right flank. The regular infantry are to redeploy. They're to countermarch to the left and deploy in double line on the left. Artillery is to switch to from counter battery fire to fire on the infantry, any infantry target they choose. They're to fire on the enemy maneuver elements.
Alright, not a problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Alright, there we go. So the ground on my right should be good for my light infantry, which is my second brigade. My light infantry can push up through this ground and should be able to kind of crumple or damage the enemy's left flank here. So that's going to be a big point of attack. We're going to create a lot of pain for him right there. The artillery will begin firing on the infantry, which will weaken the infantry. It's going to take a while. I'm not going to sit there and do counter battery and trade losing blows, though. I'm going to make it count by hitting some infantry at least. Then the regulars will deploy on the left, and if we have to, we can push up and trade volleys. So that's sort of my... Go ahead, Crusader.
The best thing about our position, I think, currently, is that if he stays here and just reacts by, turning his infantry, against the First Division, then we can enfilade that part of his line.
Yeah, he's gonna get double enveloped. The problem, like I said, is it's gonna take some time, but once the attack develops, he's gonna lose this position in about 30 to 45 minutes. He's gonna be driven back at least into the fort or somewhere else. So, but yeah, you do have to have a look to what's going on to the south. We don't want First Division to get hit from behind either. So we need to make sure that their flank and their rear are protected as well.
Yeah, I have my hussars to their south, who are just basically following around the enemy light cavalry.
Good.
We might give an actual order to the hussars to also report to First Division.
So it's 08:30 right now. The fog has cleared now, so you can see more. Your hussars have reported that they have encountered enemies in Ruin Chatillon, like one Lancer unit. But they are shutting them right now.
Which of the two Hussar contingents? The northern or the south?
The northern one.
I see.
Yeah. Right now, you can see the second division forming up to the south near May, and currently You have lost some cannons during the cannon duel between the Austrians and yours. Yeah, that's pretty much all. And the Southern Hussars don't report anything new.
In that case, I want to order the Hussars in the south to also report to first division.
Okay.
Because it's they're closer to them and they probably also need to know.
Yeah. Is that all or?
No, I so they only encountered the single Lancer squadron, correct?
Yes. The Hussars to the north.
Yeah, in that case, I want them to take offensive action unless any reinforcements arrive.
Okay.
And I also want I want my artillery to open fire on the southern half of the enemy infantry line, south of Castle Gimo.
Um. Yeah, will be done.
Okay, what I am putting on the map, just for everybody watching the YouTube, this is the desired disposition of forces. As far as what actually shakes out is going to be up to the umpires, but this is the ideal. And we'll see what happens. And I don't know if I can draw on this portion of the map, but if I can. Nope, see right here's the cutoff. But basically everybody knows that we are ordered to basically advance and attack. So again,
We have reached the point of no return.
yeah, an aggressive approach I think is still going to pay off. From what I can see, we outnumber him at least 2-1, and we have him almost double enveloped. And we do have cavalry superiority. He's got some lancers, but big deal. We have more men on more horses than he has. So it's just a matter of applying maximum pressure. Yeah.
And now all we have to do is grab them by the nose and kick them in the nuts.
Pretty much.
As is traditional in warfare.
Right? No, you're going to do great. You're doing great.
Yeah. Thank you.
As Eli says, just want to make sure you guys get it done quickly. Don't want to get bogged down fighting this one division, and that's correct. So we're gonna push, and I think that by switching my artillery to fire on the maneuver elements, that will give him a lot of inducement to retreat. Counter battery fire is always just such a gamble. I'm not a fan of it. I do order it sometimes just to kind of see what I get, but ultimately I am a big supporter of the artillery firing on the infantry, and I think that provides a better return on investment when we do that. So I know everybody wants to do counter battery fire. In the K-22 system, counter battery fire is kind of hard. You only have 30% odds of scoring counter battery hits with counter battery fire. And that's again because I don't like it. And I really think you need to be firing on the maneuver elements of the enemy. So you get a +1 modifier to your die rolls if you use your battery in support of the infantry, which is relatively powerful. You know, it's like a column shift if you were looking at the chart. And that's just my take on it. Maybe I'm wrong with that philosophy, but I think playing catch with the opposite artillery unit is not something that's going to pay off because artillery just it's a support thing. It's a battering ram. But really it's infantry that takes and secures the ground and does the work, that does the real fighting. So, they're a support element and they need to be a support element. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, of course, especially Achilles and Eli and Peter and Nathan, if you're familiar. By all means, everyone tune in. Emmanuel, you're here. Good to see you. Tune in. Tell me how wrong I am if you think I'm wrong. Absolutely. It's how I learn.
Marshall, who says artillery isn't a maneuver element? Salamont would like to disagree with you.
All right, the Growl says, that's Eli, he says two things. My opinion is that counter battery fire isn't usually simulated very well. And second, it depends on the guns and munitions being used. So since we're doing Napoleonic, we're doing probably 6 and 7 pounds, 10 or 12-pound guns, and we're firing solid shot. So I was told, and I think enemy artillery are 6-pounders. So they're firing a little, a little ball. When we get to Civil War, that's when it starts getting really complicated. And in fact, I have 2 weeks to work out my Civil War artillery rule set because of the in-person game I'm doing. But I think I can handle that, and I found some good resources for that. Neither here nor there. What I don't know is the historic counter battery success rate. I could look at the Kriegsspiel tables, but this is actually even before 1824 Kriegsspiel. So I think that would still be insightful, but generally speaking, I just have an issue with it. I have like this personal hang up with counter battery fire all the time. Eli says in the Civil War, for example, rifled guns are better suited for counter battery fire due to the shape of the projectile and accuracy. Well, yeah, you've got bolt shot for one, which spirals like a football. So you've got a much more accurate weapon, probably fired from a 3-pound ordnance. I don't know what 3-pound ordnance fired. If they fired bolt shot, I could imagine that being pretty darn accurate. It's like a bullet, shaped like a bullet. Um, and then your bigger guns, your 10-pound parrots or whatever, rifled, probably similar. But you also have explosive shot, which is great for, you just kind of have to get close. It's like a hand grenade exploding in the air, only worse. Okay, Achilles says, I agree, it is usually not simulated well in pre-modern warfare. It is much less effective. In modern war, it is a primary function. Explosive shells in the American Civil War make it more effective than in Napoleonic. Yeah. Well, modern day artillery, you look at World War II, that's the king of battle. Is that artillery. That artillery just, you don't want to be on the receiving end of any kind of artillery in World War II. Eli says it's mainly the shock and awe of the incoming fire. You aren't looking at the damage being done, it's the morale effect the fire has on the gun crews. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually surprising. I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that Napoleonic combat was not nearly as deadly as people assume. It really wasn't up until the American Civil War that, oh my gosh, these things are actually quite deadly now. But prior to that, this combat was not nearly as bloody as people assume. And the reason people assume Napoleonic combat was bloody, which it could be, I mean, you look at the casualty rates at Waterloo, but it's a mistake to assume that every battle is a Waterloo. You know, Waterloo is a one-off. Austerlitz is kind of a one-off. Your typical Napoleonic skirmish lasted 5 to 15 minutes maximum. And very light casualties. Usually one side ran away from the other even before the volleys started. They might fire one volley and then, bug out. So that's what the K-22 system simulates, is it simulates those small level engagements where it's not particularly bloody unless both sides insist on making it so. And then it can get that way. But it's not supposed to be that way, because you're just doing these little skirmishes off on the fringes or out in advance of the main effort. So, and that's the K-22 system. The K-22 is really brigade versus brigade, and it's small skirmish, and it's ideal for 2 to 3 people who want to play a quick game, over 2 or 3 hours tops in the man cave or the garage or wherever, or at a convention, and just kind of scratch the Kriegsspiel itch pretty easy. Now, if you move up to this level that we're playing here, you want to use the Autovoski system, which is where you have divisions and corps slamming into each other, and it is going to be more bloody, and the firefights are going to last 15, 30, 45 minutes because you can rotate fresh units in and out. And you could do that with K-22, but again, K-22 is a smaller scale system. It plays closer to original Kriegsspiel, whereas the Autovoski system and the brigade system play more like how we've traditionally played in the International Kriegsspiel Society. But original Kriegsspiel plays close to K-22, which is you have these 2-minute turn increments. K-22 is 5 minutes. Autovoski and brigade system is a 15-minute interval. And the games take a lot longer between Autovoski and brigade. You're going to play a 4, 5, 6, 7 hour game instead of a 2 or 3 hour game. So it's just different. All right. Peter says, how can we constantly beat you if we tell you all the secrets? Peter, you're on to me, man. I was trying to get you to tell me the secrets, and you caught me. The joke is, I never win, which is sadly kind of true. But anyway. Achilles says, artillery the killer, infantry the queen, and cavalry the arm of decision. In the cavalry, we used to say that the infantry might be the queen of battle, but it's the cavalry that keeps her from being molested. That's because the cavalry provides the eyes and ears, if you will, and they protect the flanks. They run around and can move quickly to whatever position that prevents the enemy from harassing or disrupting the infantry's regular movements, as I understand it. So that's pretty important. Looks like we're getting a report in. Justin's typing on Discord. So here's our next screenshot. All right, let's see how we've done here. It looks like we're developing. This is good. All right, so I think I have my Volt gears here on the right, my regular infantry on the left. More or less, this is shaped up the way I want it. This attack here in the south doesn't look like it's going to do great pushing uphill, but I would still make it anyway. And here we are on the right. If we push, the fort doesn't look occupied. So it's time to push, in my opinion. All right, so there's that. All right. Wait for Justin to get here. In the meantime, I'm going to synchronize the map. He's got 2 here, 2 here. He's got a few here. 1, 2. Put 1 here. Then we're going to put 2 here. Why are they facing that way? There's something they don't like going on there.
Which side?
He's got a couple units facing northwest at Castle Grimaud.
That will probably be my hussars then.
Yeah, there's something bothering him up there, which is good.
I don't have my screenshots yet, so I can't,
Oh,
Good
yeah,
day.
you'll get it. Yes.
The counter-battery fire continues. There's more Austrian guns have come up, and they are both firing at your guns now. So your gunners are defending themselves and do not transfer their shots onto the enemy infantry as ordered. Your Voltigeurs are forming on your right and are now ready to have formed in line and ready to push through. Well, formed in a loose open line and are now ready to push through the woods there. Your line is forming on your left and is now ready to push up there in a double line. You can see Dookie. You can see Dogpilot's line forming in the valley.
Okay.
You can hear the ongoing hammer of heavy artillery from beyond the enemy line. Any orders at this time, or should I give you a little bit of time to discuss and come back?
I'm ready with my orders, unless Crusader wants to interrupt what I'm going to do.
I didn't think I do.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to go over to my gunners. They're going to fire on what I tell them to fire on. They will shift fire to the enemy infantry, and I will direct them personally if need be. Second, we will attack. We will push and we will attack hard. In particular, the Voltigeurs are to push forward. They are to fan out to the right all the way into Bois de Gramont and harass the enemy. They're to pelt the hell out of them. It's attack.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, that's what we're doing.
I'm getting more and more the feeling that I probably need to use my heavy cavalry very soon.
Yeah. We might have to, send them on a flank around to the south where it says St. Julien-le-Metz, Grove Road, around there. Heavy cavalry coming in at the enemy rear. That might cause them some harm. You could send it in through the middle, or threaten in the middle so they're forced to form squares. But the problem is, whether they form square or not, they probably won't. Cavalry attacking into a line of infantry is going to do bad all the time. So I don't really think up the middle is a good use of them. But around the flank, maybe.
The grind and center first of there are 2 artillery batteries that are going to absolutely butcher them. And
Yeah.
the grind there is horrible.
Yep. So I'm sending in regular infantry there. So
I think what I'll do is send them after my northern hussars, because it seems they've succeeded.
yeah. All right. Grouse says I prefer 20-minute turns, not too slow, not so fast that the player misses things and stuff gets skewed. Yeah, it just depends on what scale you want to play at. Let's see. The grouse says, get some. Gets my blood going when a general gets decisive. Hell yes. Once more into the breach. Yeah, you have to be. You can't pussyfoot around this stuff. You've just got to stick it to them at some point. At some point it becomes a soldier's fight, and the soldier just has to win. So that's kind of where we're at. I've got light infantry that can, fight in open order through those woods. and really make their regular infantry miserable, so I'm going to use them. And that's going to intimidate them in the north. The correct response against that would actually be to counterattack into those woods. I don't know how well they do it, but I don't know that they would do that. I think they crumple. So, and yeah, if that artillery's firing on that infantry's not going to stand. So yeah, I think the Schwerpunkt here is in the north, with artillery firing on the infantry and the light infantry coming in through the woods. I think we crumple them there and they'll start to fall back. So that's right, Achilles. Attack, attack, attack. I attack, I attack, I attack. Is that what that says? I can't pronounce the French. Audacity. Yes, audacity. Yep. All right. Eli says he should have pulled out of there. He thinned out his line trying to cover his flanks. Position's definitely going to fold now. That's my hope.
It's 08:45 right now. You can see First Division has deployed to your south, and your artillery is continuing to shoot. To the south, your lancers report a big cavalry movement. Like they estimate 4 lancers, and they see some batteries and 4 hussars moving up to the north. And your hussars to the north have fought against the lancers, but to no decisive conclusion, so they retreated.
See.
And the artillery battle is still going on.
Wait, so enemy lancers and hussars are moving north from our south?
Yes, from Balcroix à la limite.
That could be bad. Okay. I'll probably need to take care of that.
Do you need time or?
Yeah, I'll take a minute.
Okay, I will come back soon.
Okay, my headset cut out a little bit. What happened? We have enemy cavalry to the south.
We have approximately 8 squadrons, 4 squadrons of lancers and 4 squadrons of hussars, moving north to threaten the back of the 1st Division. So I would say that is probably where my heavy cavalry is needed currently.
All right, sure. And then he's got a second brigade that can form squares to repel him. So
yeah, I'll move. I think I'll move down to him to speak to him.
Yeah,
Next time.
Don't get intimidated by that cavalry. Just form squares, repulse them. But this is the big attack here. If we let that cavalry pull us off or distract us, we lose. We're committed here. We can't pull back committed troops. So
I do not plan to do that.
good, good. All right, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I want the my hussars in the north to keep pursuing those lancers unless they are reinforced by cavalry. And I want to move down south to speak to the pilot, and I will bring my heavy cavalry with me.
Okay. I think I didn't hear that with the Northern Cavalry.
I want them to pursue the enemy cavalry and try to catch them, or if possible, disrupt enemy supplies, unless enemy cavalry reinforcements arrive.
Okay. Will be done.
Okay, thank you. It's weird that I didn't see that the pilot has his second brigade. Because it isn't on the road. So he might already have deployed them facing the enemy cavalry.
Hmm. All right, let's see here. We've got. Yeah, Achilles says that the Austrians should have pulled back. They could have used the fort to anchor their line. That would have created a lot of problems for me, and it would have really strengthened their position. Eli says it highlights one of my pet peeves too, a player that gets so focused on a piece of ground that they sacrifice their entire command to keep it. That thought process will never make sense to me. Either you win but get beat to hell and back, or you lost and almost your entire command was destroyed. Yeah. So we'll see though, but we're both kind of committing over this patch of ground.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
You can see with you physically standing over them, the gunners shoot at the target of choice. Also helped by the fact the enemy gunners aren't shooting at them anymore. Your attacks rolling in on both sides, but not obscuring your cannon. The enemy seems to be falling back to the fort, so they
Okay.
don't immediately oppose your attack. But your Voltigeurs are now emerging from the far side of that field, and the line is coming up.
All right. So they're falling back and they're going into that fort.
Yes, they don't. I mean, it seems that they won't all be able to fit into that fort, not without being more vulnerable and protected. But
Yeah.
yes, they're falling back into the fort.
Okay.
You can see General Dog Pilot's brigade lined up, but they seem to be just holding the ground for now. And you see the Cuirassiers and General Crusader move in that direction.
Okay. I want my Voltigeurs and my light infantry, whatever. I'm probably not
Yep.
pronouncing it right. And my forces to move north into the woods. So the regular infantry should occupy the woods to their immediate north. The Voltigeurs into Bois de Gramont. I will
Mm-hmm.
join the light infantry in Bois de Gramont, and I will scout the area. I want to look what's to the north of there, in particular.
Okay.
Um, and we'll occupy those positions. We're going to hang back far enough that we're not exposed too much to enemy artillery there. My guns will hold position where they're at and recover, along with the supplies. And yep, that's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
So the line is just going north into the edge of the Bois
Yeah, and I'm
Grimont.
gonna do a quick ride around to see if I can see anything to the north.
Okay.
I need to know if there's enemy forces out there around. Let's see, what is it? Why can't I? Around Sheol and Rue, that little hill,
Sure.
Chantilly and so on.
Yep. Not a problem.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Probably should have sent scouts to do that now that I think about it. But yeah, here we are. So now I want us to move essentially this way. More or less like that. With my guns here still. Supply to basically resupply them. The enemy is, of course, falling back into the fort, so we have won the position. He has kind of become intimidated there. So here's the deal. There's this road here that runs north to south, more or less. I want to see what's going on there. I want to know if the enemy has forces coming that way. If they do, we can establish some sort of a position to, we can do something about it. If not, then we're going to be swinging south. I would imagine that 1st Division's going to swing south. And relieve Metz. But I need to kind of hang out here and hold to prevent Fort St. Julian's forces from getting too crazy. Again, the correct response for them is to come out and push me through the woods. But I don't think they'll do that because they're on their back foot. They're in a defensive mindset. So that's kind of where we're at here. Yeah, maybe they're hoping to hold at the fort and smash the flank with the large cavalry division. I don't think that'll go so well. I don't think, you know, they'll probably trade off with the 2nd Brigade of 1st Division, which will form squares, and then they'll kind of be spent. So we'll see what happens here. But for me, I don't have a clear path forward or a directive other than this. We sort of achieved our immediate objective of pushing them back into the fort. Now I just want to look north. As long as they're bottled up in that fort, like I've said, they can roast marshmallows, they can drink schnapps or whatever they do. They can do Austrian infantry things. That's fine. But now we kind of have some freedom to do what we want to do. All right. Yeah, let's see. All right, there we go. We'll be talking about this probably tomorrow on Coffee Kegs and Kriegsspiel. So again, check that out. It'll be tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Oh, I haven't checked the Board Game Geek on that either. Let me look there now that I remember. Yep, the K22 rules are on Board Game Geek. And I have a question to answer on there, which I need to answer. 5 days ago. But just so you know, yeah, here's our Board Game Geek page. K22 system. Got the pieces going, all of that. You can play with it on the... there's a module. It's a free module. But yeah, here's the rule set. Free module on... what do you call it? Tabletop Simulator. But yeah. Anyway, Board Game Geek. There we go. And I need to answer that question. All right, so everybody can see what the heck I was clacking on about. I've been having this wonderful discussion with a guy here. I don't know who he is. He's a game designer of some sort. I don't know what he's designed. But he's asked several rules on the Board Game Geek, and what he asks here is, are they limited to one set of orders per turn? And really, it's up to the umpire. You know, in K22, you get a 5-minute turn cycle, so there's only so much that you can do during that time. Longer orders, what we call a Moby Dick, or at least I call them that, tend to be discouraged or even punished or ignored, but clear and concise orders are rewarded with good implementation. The umpire simulates the other levels of command. Basically, that means the other officers in the field who are not you, and those officers can respond in a various fashion. So in a strict game, it just, you know, you might ignore those orders or punish that sort of thing, but in a casual game, you might allow it. And again, the entire thing is it's up to the umpire. So uh, it's however you guys want to play. All right, let's check our YouTube. I haven't been looking at that because I've had my head in Board Game Geek. And there's nothing new on YouTube. Come on, guys, what the heck? You're not chattering away about my brilliant strategy? So, my moving into the woods, I don't feel good about that. But I got to do something. It's better to me to do that rather than just hold position, stop, and wait for orders. This is sort of a compromise between doing something and stopping and waiting for orders. I am stopping and I'm holding. I'm trying to protect my men from battery fire that'll inevitably come from the fort. I'm trying to increase my situational awareness by looking around to the north, taking advantage of the time to take a peek to my north. What I don't like is that I'm not doing anything that I feel is forcing the enemy to react. Maybe I am kinda, but not really. It's not this strong, decisive action that I had been taking previously. Up until this turn, the enemy, in my opinion, has been forced to react to me. Now I feel like, well, he's pulled back, and now I kind of got nothing to do. We know I can't stand around with my hands in my pocket, because if I do that, the entire war will be lost and planet Earth will probably be destroyed and communism will win. Something like that. I don't know. I just know that having your hands in your pocket's pretty bad in the military. So I want to go north and do something. I almost wonder if I should have gone south. But I feel like if I go south, then I'm really just kind of letting them out of the bag. It's like, okay, I've got you bottled up in the fort. Now, okay, you can do whatever you want. It feels like something we do in Vietnam, you know, where we go in, we secure an area, and then we just hop on helicopters and fly out. And the Viet Cong are like, well, okay. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Vietnam, but from the cliches I've heard, that's kind of how we did things. Probably not, but that's what I've heard. Whatever. But I don't want to do that. You know, I want to, you know, do something to kind of at least elevate our situational awareness and keep the enemy kind of guessing and bottled up. So that's why I've done what I've done. I don't like it. I'd like to do something a little more decisive, something a little harder. I'd love to assault the fort, but I think that would be suicide. And why? Again, if they're bottled up in that fort and they're roasting weenies, that's great because they're not operating. So, anyway, that's my take on it. Let's see what Eli has to say. Eli, just so you know, his cred is he's a Marine. Okay, Achilles has cred too. Achilles was in the army. He's a Cav Scout, as I understand. Peter has cred. Peter has just run so much Kriegsspiel. He's a master of Kriegsspiel. But let's see here. Eli says, to be fair, there isn't much you can do. They're fortified and ready to receive an attack. You're asking for death if you go all out on them right now. Can't leave because they're still combat effective. Okay. So yeah, that's my read too. I think we agree on that. The question is, did I do the right thing or the wrong thing? Did I do kind of the least bad thing or most optimal thing I could have done, or am I making a mistake? That's kind of the question. Achilles affirms that troops with their hands in their pockets lose wars. That's what the sergeants say. Yep. So, if I had put my hands in my pocket, I'm sure it would have resulted in communism conquering the planet. And yeah, we would all be in gulag and whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe communism's paradise. I don't know. But that's what I'm told, right? So I'm an American. What do I know? So that's what we've done. We're just going to kind of hold here and figure out. Yeah, screen them and bypass them if you need to. Yeah. The problem that I'm in is if they say, okay, we're going to come out and drive through those woods, I can't hold. Like, I could try, but they outnumber me at least 2 to 1. I don't know, though. I do have that light infantry. Might make their life miserable. I don't know. I won't run away if they come out. I'll try to hold for at least 15 minutes or so. And then if I have to pull back, I could, but I just need to know what's going on elsewhere. Let's take a look here. It looks like my regular infantry didn't make it up, but my light infantry's up here. And it looks like there's nothing going on to our north. They've got some lancers there and some hussars.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
You observe no enemy to your north. You do see that some hussars have been tangling with it looks like Austrian lancers to your west, and they have been driven off despite outnumbering them. You can see that the woods to your southwest are, well, you are confident that they are fully occupied by your light troops. And from what you can hear, you can see clouds of smoke rising from what looks like some sort of an attack towards the enemy position to your south. You can't really see what's going on there.
Okay, I need to head towards Castle Gramont. I need my regular infantry to form up behind that.
Yep.
And let's go ahead and bring the artillery forward. And let's have them. I don't like that. Let's bring the artillery. Let's keep the artillery in reserve.
Okay.
I don't want to just use them to use them. I want them to have something to do.
Yep.
I have a feeling they'll just lose any regular duel. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right, so he's got cavalry that's kind of controlling that road, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that unless I want to go duel with lancers. It's just not a good idea. But he controls a road that is basically empty, so I don't know that it makes much of a difference. And if they try to move along that route, we can ambush. But I don't think that's going to happen. So now I'm going to consolidate my forces. I'm going to move down to Castle Gramont. And what I want to do is, if we're attacking in the south, then I need to push. I need to do something to support him. But I don't know that that's the case. So, my instinct is to support. And I almost wonder if I need to swing south. But again, I don't want to give up these woods to the enemy and these routes to the enemy because, again, that lets him out of the bag. Maybe I do. Maybe I want him to come north and then I push south and that relieves Metz. I don't know. This is really a corps commander decision, not a division commander decision. So, hey, if I wanted to be corps commander, I should have taken the corps commander slot. But I'm a division commander, so I need to be a division commander. That means more or less I'm going to kind of hold on here. I'm going to try to develop situational awareness with the time that I have. I'm going to try to develop my position, possibly support my fellow division commander, but we'll see. I don't know that I can do much more than what I'm doing right now, especially without orders. Okay. Eli says then either hit them when they come out or let them come after you. You know they're going to react if you leave, so just plan around the reaction. Achilles says make sure your cav is close enough to make them go into square if they come out, or they will be charged. Then pound them with the guns. Meanwhile, you can bypass them with most of the infantry. Yeah, I don't control any cavalry. I'm purely infantry with one battery of guns. It's taken some knocks. So, yeah, in that fort, they're just going to be strong. There's not a whole lot I'm going to be able to do while they're in that fort. But the good news is they're bottled up. I should send them some care packages or something. Send them some posters. They can decorate the walls. Send them some paint. They can paint. We'll send them little tin or lead miniatures and they can paint those all day. Send them some board games. What do you think? Hey guys, play some games. Have some fun. Take a day off. You worked hard. you know? So, good job working hard, guys. You just chill now. Just chillax in there. Pillows and blankets all around. That's what I say. The only problem is they're bottled up there, and now I feel like I'm kind of stuck here too. And I don't like that very much. If you're going to bottle up a force, you want to do it with something smaller. I mean, this is with all things being equal, ceteris paribus, so that you can gain local superiority somewhere else with what you have left over. Achilles says, big picture though, since your army is larger, you have a significant enemy force that is useless where they are. So even just sitting there, you're hurting them. Yeah, I kind of want to move south. I really think I'm going to start moving south. But hopefully I get orders. And what could my orders possibly say other than move south? I don't know. I think move south is not only the only option, it's the most logical option. We leave the light infantry to kind of hold that line there. And then we move south and support 1st Division. Eli says, as much as I understand Marshall's need for action, Achilles is right. The play right now is to do recon with the Corps Cav to get an understanding of the field. Achilles says, this is the moment in every game where Marshall makes the critical decision he regrets later. That's right. That's right. So here's where we're at. We're at change of mission. Do we order a change in the mission? You know, we're all kind of here. There's no reserve to worry about right now. Um, you know, how do you array the forces? We've decided that. We really don't have a reserve to commit. If anything, everything's kind of in reserve. Or my regular infantry, my 1st Brigade, which is regular line infantry, they might be the reserve because they don't have anything going on. The light infantry, they're busy holding the woods. So maybe that's the reserve, but I don't have any place to commit them right now. Maybe commit them to the south. And then, of course, are we going to change the mission? Are we going to, switch over to defense now and we're just going to bottle the enemy? Or are we going to attack somewhere? I don't know. But that, again, that's a Corps command decision, I feel. Eli says, don't forget that you can make recommendations to the Corps commander. You may only be a division commander, but your information is valued by a CO. Yeah, I should probably be sending a dispatch. For some reason, I feel lazy. I don't like sending dispatches unnecessarily, so unless it's really vital. Just from my work as an umpire, there are these guys who will send a dispatch every turn, and I hate that. I hate those people. I see dust in the distance. Well, thanks, but you already reported that last turn. I'm marching. Well, good. You're supposed to be marching. Very good. Anyway, I can't say that the enemy is balled up in Fort St. Julien because I don't know what's going on to the south. But you know what? I do have some information. I know that the north is clear, so why don't I dispatch that? Okay, Crusader has just sent me a dispatch. I will charge in the carbiners, basically the cuirassiers, while 1st Division pins the enemy down. Either keep up the pressure or start moving south as you see fit. Well, there you go. So I need to start moving south. Okay, well, there we have it. All right, dispatch to Marshal Crusader from Marshal. Time 0900. I'm using 2nd Brigade Light Infantry to hold Bois de Gramont. I will move south with 1st Brigade and Battery to support. So that's going to be my order. I'm going to move south. I'm hoping that when I get to Castle Gramont, I see something that I can act upon. I don't know what I'll see. And the other problem is if I enter that clear terrain to the south of the fort, then I'm going to be pretty vulnerable. I don't know if his artillery is active. That's something I want to ask about. Because it could be that if he's not firing, he could be low or out of ammunition. So there could be more to this than meets the eye. I just don't know. So I do know that from my north, there's nothing. And then to the south, there's stuff going on. I'm probably needed down there. So it makes sense to head that way. I need to edit this dispatch, though. There we go. So I've just told him that the route to the north appears clear, that all he has is a formation of lancers, but that the hussars have clashed with the lancers and appear to be in a poor state. All right. All right, still standing by. Doesn't seem to be a lot going on. Yeah, and as Eli says, communicate. Yep. All right, I think we'll probably go 2 or 3 more turns. About 1 more hour approximately. Is my kind of hunch on this. I don't see a relief column to the north for the Austrians, so again, we have them bottled up in that fort, and I think swinging around to the south might just do it, might relieve Metz. They must be resolving a big turn. All right. Still standing by. No umpire movement yet. They're still resolving. Man, I really want to get outside. It's a nice day out. It's 66 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what our high is for today. Let me look on my phone. It's noon. We have a high of 68, it looks like, in an hour. Maybe 69. It says two different things on here, 68, 69. Yeah, I need to get outside. Achilles has 61 with a high of 63, but overcast. Yeah, I'll have to get up there, Achilles. We're going to have to get to Carmel or something and meet up. You can't beat coastal California for the weather. You just can't, especially I feel the central California coast where it's just pristine, man. This is the place to be. You go too far south. Once you get south of Malibu, you get into Los Angeles and it's just overcrowded and packed, too many people. You go further north, north of the Bay Area, and you just get a lot of rain. It gets pretty wet, and that's fine too. But here it's darn near perfect, man. I got Santa Barbara an hour to the south. That's the American Riviera, and we've got more or less similar to the same weather. Yeah, and then Achilles is near the Bay Area, so he's got Bay Area weather. Yeah, cool summers. They're not hot. We get a little summer here in October. We'll get like the last week of September, first couple weeks of October. It'll actually get warm here, where we'll get like into the 80s, the low 80s for like an hour or two in the afternoon. You put a fan on, you're fine. And then that's it, and then it's over. And then it's like 68 degrees all year. Really it's more like 58, low 60s in the winter, and then the rest of the year it's like this. It's pretty stable because we're so close. I mean, we're right next to the ocean. It's the water. Anyway, talk about weather, right? Because you got nothing else. We're waiting on those reports. I'm concerned that if he comes out, he gets in my OODA loop and forces me to react to him, which I don't want. But he might feel nice and comfy inside that fort, which is what I want. Next, we'll discuss grass growth in the suburbs, Achilles says. Yeah, we don't have grass. No more grass. Not in California, especially not in coastal California. Not anymore. The chronic droughts and stuff that we're having, it doesn't pay. You're just gonna have to let it die. So it's better to do some kind of drought resistant thing. And it looks like we're going to have another year of drought here in California. 2022 to 2023 will be another dry year. It's going to get really bad for people. You look at people up around, Las Vegas, rely on Lake Mead, the Colorado River. Those water levels are historic lows, unprecedented lows. So I don't know why anybody'd want to live in Las Vegas. I don't mind visiting once every year or two, but I used to go like 2 times a year to Vegas. Used to go religiously, but yeah, it's too hot, too dry, too little water, too many people now. All right, we've got a report. Ooh, this is interesting. And it looks like, what the heck? It looks like we're pushing in on the fort, but the fort is doing poorly. It looks like those units are being shattered. I think the game's over. I think the game's over right now. There might be another turn, but I think the game's over. So attack. Yeah, I think the game's over, guys. This is it. The Austrians are breaking all over. I don't know why we still play. It's over. Any minute now. Probably pull us up to the top for debrief.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
You return to the sounds of a frenzied and frenetic combat. You can see heavy attacks going on around the walls of Fort St. Julien. You see several battalions falling back from in disarray, mostly from General Dolpart's division, but some from your 2nd Brigade. In behind the fort, you can see what looks like half of the enemy forces here, all broken, falling back. And there's some sort of chaotic cavalry engagement going on further down the road.
Attack.
Attack.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. That's my order. Pretty simple. I'm a simple man. Attack. The enemy looks like he's wavering. He's heavily disrupted. He's not going to hold. I've got fresh units that I can plug in. So I think sending in the fresh units against the enemy that's apparently demoralized and breaking will finish him off. At least that's what the screenshot seems to reveal to me. So the screenshot reveals that the enemy is wavering, something that you would kind of be able to tell if you see the enemy troops. You can see them milling about. You can see the nature of their fire. You can see the muskets on their shoulders wavering back and forth. That shows disorganization or organization. In this case, I would imagine I'm seeing disorganization. So an attack is probably going to profit more than not. Now, he has been broken up and disrupted, but he has a second wave. I have a first wave that can go in. I think this should, bring it into it. My artillery's out of action. Should have brought the artillery up, but it don't matter. By the time the artillery deploys and get in, it's over. There's nothing going on to the north. So he's breaking down here in the south. I take it that what I'm seeing down here in the south is our forces are pushing forward out of Metz. So it looks like we're going to link up. And then I even have a brigade back here, which is just kind of standing there. They've got some disrupted stuff here, but for the most part, this looks pretty good for us. Now, the situation could flip, but I don't think so. So, yeah, it is possible he tried to vacate the fort and got hammered. Just sort of standing by here. I guess they're going to roll that one more turn. Okay, I have a dispatch from Crusader. First Division's attack was successful and left the Austrian guns and baggage open. He'll try to exploit the situation with his heavy cavalry. A large enemy contingent is headed up from the south. That includes artillery, heavy, light, and lancer cavalry. Do whatever you see fit with the information provided. Well, I've already committed to attack, but we're going to take that fort, I feel, which I think is key to the whole position. I don't really want to hold the fort. I'm not too keen on it. I hate playing defensive games like that. Um, but yeah, sure. I mean, we'll take it, if we can. And then what we need to do is swing south and defend against the oncoming cavalry because that could be a problem if it's a particularly heavy force. Having my baggage train and my artillery in the rear, that's not good with artillery operating. He's between May and around here, so yeah. But we'll see. This might come to a close before that matters. And cavalry isn't going to operate inside the fort, so I need to bring my column up quickly. I need to bring these guys here, up here. I believe I'll carry the fort. If I don't, I still need to bring these guys up. Okay. All right, Achilles. We'll see you soon, man. Hang in there. See you tomorrow. Okay. And that could be why the game is going another turn, is they want to see what that cavalry does. Beatrice asks, is this part of the campaign? I don't know. I don't know. It may or may not be a campaign battle. I don't know. Could just be a Saturday battle. Justin's running it. And I know Justin has stuff going on, but Justin's running it. I don't think it's campaign, but it doesn't change how I'm playing. Yeah, it's nice to have you back, Beatrice. Welcome back. Lots of updates. We got the website going, we got the Patreon going, we got the store going, we got games going, we got campaigns going, we got play-by-post going, live stuff. We have an actual in-person Kriegsspiel in Los Angeles in 2 weeks. So lots of stuff going on. We're basically going full bore, man. Full bore. All right, we're just waiting for a report. We have sort of a full court press going on, everyone. We are pushing into Fort St. Julian. I'll show you the screenshot. I have not updated my physical map yet or my tabletop yet, but that's kind of the situation. Everything they have looks like it's broken that I can see. I understand they have cavalry coming up from the south. I've got some artillery here. We're going to bring that forward. Going to push in. Hopefully, we carry that position. And the cavalry are rendered moot either through their activity or they get defeated or we carry the fort and it doesn't matter because you can't use cavalry in a fort. I don't know. But we're hoping to basically finish them off. I assume from the orientation of these units here that we have forces moving up this way from Metz. So that's the hope. All right, let's take a look here. Back at the YouTube. And Peter says Little Gaddiston is having a live in-person game next month as well. It's very good. Peter, I'd love to hear more details. Love to hear what you guys are doing. Beatrice says, need to train more as an assistant umpire, I think, but I'm hoping to introduce the game to my local game store, Game Castle in Sacramento. There's already a robust historical club. Yeah, that's fantastic. And Beatrice, if you can get down to Los Angeles in 2 weeks, on Sunday, September 4th, I know Sacramento to Los Angeles is probably, what, a 7 hour drive, I'm guessing? We don't have high speed rail. We won't have it for another 5 or 6 years, and it certainly won't connect to Los Angeles even then. But yeah, if you could get down there, Achilles is coming down from the Bay Area. He's going to fly in, as I understand. I'm driving, going to make the 3.5 hour drive. Then we got a couple people in the Los Angeles area who are going to meet up there. We could use at least one more person. It might be a bit far from Sacramento, but this is just kind of an open call to anyone who's watching this that if you can get there, it'd be perfect to have one more umpire, I think. And then in Sacramento, yeah, you got it. Ask and see if you get approval from the domestic commander in chief. Um, and then anything we can do to help you out in Sacramento, I don't know what, but any of our assets you're free to use. So just if there's anything that can be done, let me know. And we can probably also provide support via remote, online. Because if you're in a place with Wi-Fi, you can get on here and run a table or something or help online. So there's a lot of options you can do. One of the problems we run into in Los Angeles is we'll be playing at the LAX Hilton, and the internet there is infamously horrible. And a consequence of that is it really prohibits real-time communication with the outside world from where we're at deep in that facility. So it's just hard. So we're basically limited to in-person who we have there. We can't really draw on virtual resources from the outside world to help. Because what we could do in a case like that is you could have the master umpire table on a computer. And you could actually have a master umpire do everything remotely, whereas the in-person umpires gather the orders and then feed them to the master umpire on the computer, who does everything and then spits out results. That would be one way to do it. You could get more hands on deck that way. So. And what I would imagine is if Beatrice, if you're coming down to uh, Los Angeles, you're probably going to need some lodging. So it's at the LAX Hilton, and I know there's a special rate. It can be pretty pricey though. It's the Hilton. You could stay at a nearby hotel or other facility. So there are options. And I'm going to be carpooling in with the group. We could actually pick you up. So Beatrice says, gotta invest in some physical pieces, maps, etc. Do some historical research to become familiar with resolving stuff, but guidance from you all definitely need it. Okay, so to help you there, going back to our website, we got rule sets on the website. That's under resources rules. We also have, if you click on shop, you can get blocks. You can order blocks through our partner, Photon Cutter Studios. They make really good blocks. And you can variously tailor them to either get inexpensive sets, or you can upgrade them with custom colors and numbering and get more expensive sets. And they're also producing a K22 set for the K22 system, which it's actually being printed more or less as we speak. It looks like this. Anyway, that's in the works. So yeah, you can totally get physical pieces and stuff. And we can help with that as well as maps and other things. We can connect you with the resources. The hard part that I think you're going to run into is it's really expensive to print maps. So, but yeah, we'll do whatever we can to help out. All right, looks like we're being pulled up.
Okay.
All right, and that means we're done here. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull up a seat at the umpire table.
You are very welcome.
I
Let me give.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the match has ended. Anyone who would like to, up to I think about 5 people can get in if they want to. The umpire table is called IKS umpire table with the server password 1814. So if you have TTS and you'd like to, come on in, and then I'll start looking at the situation.
Can somebody stream it?
Yes, I can. I will stream with.
Thank you.
Or Christopher already has. Great, thank you. So we had a situation. The scenario here had a small detachment of 3 divisions 2 divisions and command, 2 small divisions and command, sitting in Metz and Fort Bellecourt, defending some small outer works. So they are broadly. Actually, my marker's not really working right now. We'll see. No, it's not.
What's the password to get into the?
1814.
What was the server name again?
It was IKS umpire table.
Thank you.
Why is that? It's not drawing on the map. Okay, that's fine. So yes, they were in the northern works here was where the 1st division was. The 2nd division was mostly around the south, was actually in Fort Bellecourt mostly, and then there were some small detachments of the 1st south of there as well. Up here we had the Austrians were on the heights of up here. Sorry, I would love to be able to draw, but for some reason it's not allowing me to draw. Yes, Sniper. It was streamed. It's being streamed now on Marshall. Marshall's streaming it on the RKS channel, and this is also being streamed now. So
yeah, I had trouble in drawing in that side of the map as well. I think it's a bug with the map.
Okay. Oh yes, cool. Yes, you're right. It's just over here. I don't want to draw. Interesting. Okay, so up here the Austrians were on the heights. So we just have to draw where they are now. Basically, they're on the heights here, and they had a division up here, and the headquarters elements with heavy cavalry and the siege guns firing from Saint-Julien-le-Metz down into Fort Bellecourt, where they opened quite a broad breach in the works there. But by the time they did that, they didn't have the infantry ready to commit through there. So despite some concern from General Vindictus, who still was keeping battalions in that fort, just keeping them out of the way of the growing gaping hole in the walls. And then General Sniper was down here at, where are we? This is Fort Le Bourd, and also in Le Plantier and Le Bourd. He was operating forward. And then later on, the French pushed out from the fort and were able to contest the area and fight, do some light fighting near Plantier. There's still quite a lot of light cavalry back here where General KB was, behind the wall, at Bellecourt à la Limite, and doing some patrols. And very early on, his hussar patrols up here at Villers-Lorme detected the van of the French relief force at 0730, but it took a little bit of time to come back, and by that point, the French were trying to press down the road. The French had some highs and lows. They were losing in the artillery duel initially, but then they were able to commit more infantry to the attack and were able to break through. First, were able to break 2nd Brigade, and so they fell back in succession before they try and regroup. And then the Cuirassiers were able to smash through and hit the siege train and basically chase their crews away. And just at that point, Prince Liam came up with his Kaiser Franz Cuirassier, sorry, French Carabinier, Austrian Cuirassier, and smashed into them and basically destroyed the formation. There's just some spent Carabinier coming down here with Crusader, who survived that fight. But then, and last turn, there was this major French attack rolling in against the last Austrian defense in this fort here to try to see if they could hold this road closed. And the best Austrian hope for that was that Liam committed and led his Cuirassiers in a charge into the flank of that. And it was just sheer bravery, or luck if you prefer, that this flanking battalion was able to form square and then repulse the attempt to break them, because if they'd broken, there was a good chance of a rippling chaos effect with the heavy cavalry charging down the flank of this 3-brigade attack. As it was, the 1st Brigade was repulsed bloodily by the defense, but the attacks from General Marshall's 2nd Division were able to break through and storm into the fort, which we're not going to say that the Austrians were definitely wiped out here, because they weren't. They still had these breaking formations was disordered, but they're still capable of fighting. However, they weren't in any condition to hold the road closed, and while he lost most of his carabiners to do it, Crusader had gotten through. The garrison were already moving up the road, so in our view, this is a win for the French. Sorry, Marshall, I know we're breaking your jinx here, but it's a win for the French, and the garrison would be able to extract from Metz and be able to try and operate in the rear of the invasion. But Bonaparte may still have lost. It's 1814. He hasn't got a great deal of number of options, but there is a diversionary campaign coming. So I would also like to thank very much. We had 2 brand new first-time assistant umpires who leapt into the thick of it with my minimally explained system. And I think, thank you very much. We couldn't have run this without you, to Quespo and to Jakes. Jake's the man. So thank you very much. I would now like to go through the assistant umpires and hear from each of you what you thought of it. Quespo, since I've just mentioned you and your streaming, why don't you tell me your experience of the battle, and then we'll go to the army commanders of each side and go down through the players.
Alright, my experience of the battle frankly, it was an amazing time. This is my 2nd time ever playing this, and it is definitely an experience. It is a really fun and super interesting experience. The battle went quite good. Like, even though we lost, it went quite good. We was able to hold and fight for quite a bit, so that's always good. And we inflicted casualties, so there's always pros and cons. Was that good? Was that shit? I don't know.
Excellent. Jakes,
Awesome.
what was your...
First time. I've obviously never done this before. And I gotta say, it was really awesome. I was sort of mostly kind of dealing with stuff down here in the southern part, but even that was exciting, especially when some of the cavalry got thought they were gonna do a nice charge, and they got kind of ambushed, and it was just really neat to kind of have the full information and to watch somebody make decisions without knowing the full picture, and then seeing the consequences of not knowing that. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Just before I move on to Sam, I just also want to call out Sniper fell afoul of some French scoundrels, and he was very keen. He was trying to organise a bit of a fifth column with some local resistance in the town, and he asked if anyone would take some coin to fight against the French for him. And in the midst of this invasion, quite a few locals said, "Yes, pay me some money, and I will go see what I can do." And he gave them their money, and they went away, and he never saw them again. But that was a fun interlude, and I could just see the message of him trying to follow up and ask, have they attacked anything yet? Have they done anything yet? Are they doing anything? But Sam, what were your impressions of the battle?
Well, I had Crusader and Dogpilot as players. So, well, in the beginning of the battle, Crusader did scare away some Hussars, and well, I think they played very well in this battle. They didn't do anything crazy like that, like Sniper Wolf. But I think overall, with the forces they had, they did the best they could have done. Like, they knew when to stay passive and not to engage, like, for example, in the south here, and when to attack and be aggressive, like Crusader did with the cannons here. Even though he almost got captured, I think, since he got attacked from behind from the Austrians.
We did multiple leadership casualty rolls there.
Yeah, so that was very bold from him, even though he knew that there was some cavalry behind him. So I think he did a good job there. And like, I think if the battle would have gone on, he could have established contact with the garrison and coordinated an attack, since he was one of the commanders from the relief force. And for Dogpilot, at the end, he helped capture the fort, which I found really well done from him. And well, I think I can't really speak for the Austrians since I didn't umpire them, but I think the Southern Force was way too passive for my liking, since like they have so many cavalry here facing only these troops, which would have greatly helped here. So yeah, that's all what I have to say.
Excellent.
And it was fun to umpire.
I'm glad. I know you came hoping to play, and thank you very much for stepping up. Tunis.
Yeah, so my players were Liam and Dookie, and that was primarily up here around Fort St. Julian, and then the siege artillery sort of at the point of the hill facing Metz. And I thought Dookie and the 2nd Division did such a great job defending the fort and then the sort of area next to it. It wasn't anything that he did wrong or anything the Austrians did wrong in the defense. It really just came down to the luck of the dice, especially there at the end with Liam's cuirassier charging the side. That could have gone a much different way, and then we would see the French running for the hills, or running off of the hill in this case. But I thought the defense of the fort was one of the highlights of my time umpiring ever. It was very exciting, and And also I want to say that the new umpires we had, I think they both at the same point realized umpiring is not nearly as difficult and crazy as they originally thought, and that is true of anyone. It was true of myself. So anyone listening that has the slightest inclination of wanting to be an umpire, definitely go for it, because the very first realization you'll have is, wow, this is actually something that I can easily do. So good job to them. Good job to everybody else.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's go through the army commanders. We have Marshal Crusader, who managed to survive a near-death experience.
Yes, I was in command of the French relief force coming in from the eastern side of the map, and we needed to choose two adjacent roads to come in on, and there was two suggestions thrown up, which was the two southern routes here, which would provide us with parallel roads straight to the gate of Metz, or the other option, which I eventually decided to pursue, is the northern, this more central approach, which would allow us to move on the high ground and dislodge, or either join up with the French garrison around Fort Saint-Julien, or if the enemy had Fort Saint-Julien, the taking of the outwork would greatly hinder the enemy siege. So that is where we decided to move in, and I think overall it paid off, even though we may have made a few mistakes. But yeah, I think the overall decisions of my commanders, I'm very pleased to say that I agree with all the decisions that they made in the end, even though I wasn't there. So yeah, I think thanks to my commanders, you both did well, and I think that's it for me.
Thank you very much. General Vindictus.
Yes.
The Lion of Metz.
Yes. Originally, my plan was to first fortify Metz with a battalion of our large division. Oops, is my pen not working?
Oh yeah, over on the west, it's not collecting pen marks well.
Yes, right. Oh, let's see if I could do a shape. Doesn't want to do it. Anyway, these forts and lunettes around Metz. So we had one battalion in each, starting at the lunette over here, and then another battalion here at the fort, all from the large division, the unnamed square fort to the south, and also Fort Gisus right here. And while the smaller division defended Fort Bella Cruz. The original plan envisioned, once these defenses were in place, to basically expect some sort of relief, and we expected it due east along the road through Les Bourdes. We also anticipated enemy artillery on the heights of St. Julien, which did manifest itself. As a result, once the battle became in earnest and we received bombardment from the heavy artillery on the heights of St. Julien against Fort Bella Cruz, we hunkered down and we waited to see if it would manifest into a sortie against the fort or if it was just a diversion. So when word came that the walls were beginning to receive damage, I gave the order to the infantry battalions there to simply move from the north damaged part of the fort to the southern undamaged part of the fort before we took any casualties. And as it turned out, there was no follow-up sortie to this breach, and that enabled us to launch offensive operations. General Great Gold of the smaller division was handed command over of 2 squadrons of Empress Dragoons and some infantry pickets, and he mustered out, or rather sortied out, towards Plantiers and southward, where I believe he destroyed an enemy cavalry squadron.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, we assumed he was doing very well from what we were hearing, and that encouraged us, and I launched a 4-battalion sortie into Les Bordes, which worked out very well, and then was followed up by a flank attack against Plantiers. It was not until I received quote-unquote grave news that General Great Gold had almost been killed and one of the Empress Dragoon squadrons almost destroyed, that we realized there was a lot more enemy battalions in the Plantiers area than we thought. Also received news of some roving cuirassiers, and in light of both those bits of news, I halted my attack against the forces in Plantiers and set up a defensive line on the Les Bordes Road in anticipation of a joint infantry cavalry attack. While this was going on, plans were made to break out from Metz to the north and link up with the French relief column, which was at the top of the hill at Fort Julian. We realized the relief column was attacking Fort Julian when the heavy siege artillery of the Austrians stopped firing. And at that moment, orders were given to the large division to immediately advance upon the St. Pierre Brewery and onto the St. Julian Heights to link up with the French relief column there. And it was on the last turn of the game that our large division was in sight of the original artillery position on the St. Julian Heights and marching rapidly up the hill past the brewery to link up with the French forces at the fort there.
Excellent. And I do admire a commander who goes, "It's the decisive moment of the battle. Quick, seize the brewery."
The most important thing.
Now, Prince Liam, His Royal Highness.
So I was given the job of putting my troops to siege Metz. Looking at everything, I set my guns near Fort St. Julien for the height advantage. I had the 2nd Division behind the guns, the 1st Division down holding Fort Les Bordes and the road to the east, and then the cavalry kind of screening with their main base behind the 1st Division in the south. Game started off quiet. Then I rode up to 2nd Division Command right when it first came into visual contact with the French column. Probably should have taken that a bit more seriously, but I transferred one of my cuirassier units and one of my artillery pieces to 2nd Division and then rode down to talk to 1st Division. I also ordered my cavalry division north to scout the French force and support the 2nd Division. When I reached the 1st Division, I found them being assaulted by dragoons, which I sent my cuirassiers to drive off, which they succeeded in doing. I then ordered First Division to hold at pull back to Les Bordes because of the French column in the north. For reference, I got no messages from either commander in the north, specifically not Second Division Command, so I did not know their situation was deteriorating. After solving the issue in the south, I rode back north and found myself staring uphill at the back of two French cuirassier units, which I then ordered mine to charge into. Sadly, we were not able to catch them before they got the siege guns, but we did smash them and drive them off. After which, I gathered my last piece of cuirassier and charged the flank of the French infantry in the hopes of driving them away. And that was my battle. One comment I do have is it is resolved and over, but I would question 4 entire squadrons of elite cuirassiers all stopping at one square of French infantry versus going around and into still in line French units beyond. I do not know any specifics beyond that, though.
I will say half of those cuirassier were disordered from the fight with the French. So you had 2 of them that were ready to attack, and they are the 2 that got hung up on the battalion. But it was a damn close run thing. If you'd ridden that guy down, or he hadn't formed square in time, you would have rolled straight into the next formations.
Okay.
Now we've got General Dogpilot of the North.
Me?
Yep. Any comments you'd like to share?
I should have seen that charge coming. I could see the enemy cavalry the entire time. I just didn't notice it, so.
I mean, that's what surprise usually is. It's something you saw the whole time, but didn't really focus on until it's too late.
Yeah. It's still a mistake, so.
Yep.
I got like focused on seeing the Austrians retreating from the fort, and they only had a cannon there. So I was like, charge in, charge for the guns. They fall back 100 paces. I really have nothing else to say.
All right, thank you very much. General Marshall, breaking your jinx.
Yeah, well, I did some analysis and I figured out that 60% of the time I make the wrong decision. So basically, I just played as normal, and whenever I made a decision, I just did the opposite, and it seems to have paid off. So, yeah, I want to point out how I single-handedly stormed Castle Grimaud and conquered it for the glory of France. And I now gloriously occupy that position. I don't know what the rest of my division did, but I was busy taking Castle Grimaud. We moved up, and I realized that, look, I've got light infantry skirmishers, and there's woods here to my north. That's ideal ground for them to operate. So I sent the skirmishers in with orders to harass the Austrians who were defending around Fort St. Julien, Castle Grimaud, down to this ridge here. And then I lined up my regular infantry on the left side of the road, the south side, and just basically started pushing. And to my surprise, after about 30 minutes of combat, they started to fall back and break. I don't know if they tried to leave the fort or what, but they really got beaten up by something back there. And when I observed that, hey, the muskets are wavering, the men do not appear steadfast in their resolve to hold the position, I just ordered a general attack, and we assaulted the fort. And apparently, it seems like we're taking it. So
yes,
that was just kind of how it went for me, and it was a good game, very fun. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, General. Sorry, GD1E. Let me just 1 second.
Yeah.
Any comments on your experience of the battle?
Well, since this was my first game here on IKS,
Welcome.
it was pretty fun, even though I did not know combat whatsoever. I mainly did reinforcing and running back and forth between commanders, but I gotta say it was pretty fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I've no doubt that you're going to plunge into some form of high intensity carnage next time around. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
General Great Gold.
Yes, that is I.
Your remarks?
I had begun the game as my commanding officer described at Fort Bellecroix, and there we tried to guess the enemy's. The reinforcing column's arrival. I had sent out a picket unit to Le Bord, whom had reported that there is thousands of Austrian infantry at Fort Le Bord. Now, this we had assumed that it could possibly be that they had assumed a defensive posture for an attack coming from the east. Thus, I had made multiple petitions to my commanding officer, Vindictus, to give me the cavalry so that I can attempt to either outflank this defensive maneuver at Fort Le Bord or go around it and establish contact with the French to the east. And I had attempted this with, initially I was only given 2 squadrons of dragoons. I got to Plantier, to the eastern end of Plantier, and there I saw that the Austrians were not in fact facing towards the east, that they were facing fully towards us. I had also seen a hussar to the south, and I had reports that there were further more cavalry to the south, and I felt like I was running straight into the jaws of a trap. So I turned back around the exact way I came, back to Fort Guisas. From there, I formulated another plan to attempt to break out, because I had not given up on the plan of linking up with the French units potentially to the east. So I climbed the hill near Culieu, and I spotted a lone single unit of Austrian line infantry at Belletange with its baggage. And I thought they were the only thing in between me and Borny, so that I could break out towards the east and do as I have previously suggested. I had given the order to run them down, but by the next turn I had gotten an experience which I could only describe as rather unpleasant. One of my dragoons had suffered really heavy casualties, and all we had to show for it was a burning baggage train. After this, I had withdrawn back to Fort Guisas and assumed defensive positions, awaiting for the enemy to attack my position. I had assumed, obviously, that they would not be attacking here, because by this time I had myself gotten news of the fighting to the north, and I knew that they were going to redeploy towards the north instead. So I had formulated plans for sorting forth and probing the enemy positions again, but I had not anticipated the speed of the Austrian redeployal. Yeah, that's about it. This is where the end of the game caught me.
Thank you very much. I would ask Sniper hasn't got a microphone, but if you want to write something out, Sniper, I'm happy to read it out. Dookie is no longer with us, so General KB, while Sniper's maybe writing, would you like to share your remarks with us?
Yes. I was in charge of the cavalry, light cavalry, and the lancers or report units.
Mhm.
I was ordered to patrol the rear. So quickly, 3 of my hussars fell out of my range of command. And I was reduced to 1 hussar, my cannon, and my lancers. And I received word from the glorious Prince Liam, that I was to march north and and scout enemy to his northeast. To which I did, and then until I encountered, I think, this dog pilot's men near Vantois. And they kind of stalled me there, but I was in the process of retreating them off of their position so I could further advance and comply with Prince's orders. Yeah, that's where the game ended.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. And was this your first time with us?
I played a game here 2 weeks ago.
Okay, great.
I think.
Yeah. Well, welcome to IKS. It's good to see you back. Sniper has written. It was fun as usual. This time I tried to be creative, and it really enhanced the game. And Great Goal says you got him good. Yeah, that was an ambush. He was laying at exactly the very last second he could have, and they just filled into the woods just in time to hit the dragoons
That
coming
was
up.
rather unfortunate.
But yeah, thank you very much, everyone. If I was going to say would have, could have, should have, if there's one thing I'd say that maybe would have helped the Austrians win this one, I was mostly focused on Vindictus and Marshall, so I missed some things elsewhere, but I didn't see a lot of coordination between the northern Austrian wing and the southern Austrian wing. I mean, I guess everyone had their hands full with what they were doing, but I didn't see.
Were my messages intercepted, or did they get to you, Liam?
Or maybe
I got some of yours.
Yeah.
Okay. So I must just
I got a few of yours through, but
Yep.
I never got anything from Dookie, which really damaged my ability to command and control because one of my divisions is falling apart and I have no idea.
Dookie's remarking the situation deteriorated rather quickly for me. Yeah. Yeah, when actually that's partly I'll give some solid credits to Dogpart for that, because initially the main attack was just coming down the road and Dogpart was holding here for quite a while, I think. But he wasn't wasting his time. He lined up his first brigade and his second brigade was coming up, but he waited. And it's one of the hardest things to do, I think, in Kriegsspiel and probably in war in that period, is to wait until you've got everything in place, even though you can see fighting happening over there. But he waited until he could attack with 2 full brigades. Well, 1 full brigade, the other one got hung up, fending off cavalry. But he was able to launch a full attack in, I think it was a 3 brigade attack, from 2 from Marshall's division and 1 from his own. And that was enough to crumple Dookie's line. Anyway, thank you very much. I had a lot of fun running it. I hope you all had fun playing it. It certainly sounds like you did. And I will look forward to gaming with you again soon.
Thank you for.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, thank you for hosting, Justin. Good job.
Yeah, thanks. Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, that's the end of the game and the end of the live stream. We'll probably talk about this tomorrow on Coffee, Kegs, and Kriegsspiel. And wine cellar, okay, that's what we got at Castle Gourmand. And thank you all for your participation, and we'll see you on our next adventure. Bye for now.